Hey, happy Thursday. What a week it's been. As always, these shows are brought to you by Ninjalerts. Ninjalerts is an NFT and an app that allows you to get smart notifications sent to your phone when your favorite whales and influencers mint, sell, or do anything with NFTs. You get them right straight to your phone. On this show, we'll actually be interviewing a bunch of those whales and influencers, and we have one today that we'll bring up in a bit. But anyways, how has your Thursday been, Ken? How's your Wednesday been? I know you're pretty active yesterday in trading.
Oh yeah. I went into the DJ mode yesterday, man, trying to make this bread. It was a little fun. I made a little bit of money, lost a little bit of money. You know how that goes. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So how's your day been?
Good, man. Just got my coffee kicking. Extra tired today for whatever reason, but the sun is finally out. I feel like it's been like raining or cloudy the last like week, so looking to get outside at some point today instead of just being stuck in the market.
Yeah, you got to, man. You got to go touch grass, Chris. You never touch grass, Chris. What's up with you?
I do, man. I do. But it's been a fun week. I mean, we've looked at a bunch of derivatives this week, a bunch of random projects that are running pretty hard, and the derivatives aren't stopping. I mean, there's been quite a few of them pop over the last few days. We saw I did just see that the AI moonbirds changed to AI nightbirds. I'm actually
Did
not
they
following
really?
that.
Is that
Y-
official?
yeah, it looks like it. I'm not following. Sorry. I'm not following them closely, but I just saw that, and then I went and looked on OpenSea, and it does say AI nightbirds now instead of moonbirds. So that's interesting.
Oh wow. Yeah, I heard they're doing AI Goblin Town soon. Like that's about to come out soon.
I was following the actually let me see if it revealed.
AI apes.
Yeah, the AI apes,
Yeah,
but it
that
looked
was a
like it,
rug,
it
bro.
looked like a rug. That's why I didn't touch it. Um, but I was following it last night. The banner of it was blurry to where you couldn't really see anything. They didn't really reveal any art, so it kind of looked to me like it was gonna be a rug. But I was still just kind of like trying to check just in case they did drop real art. And I haven't actually followed up on that, but I see that nobody's touching it, so it's probably rugged.
Yeah, and as you can see, Risky said it's Kevin Rose that hit him up saying they had to change the Moonbirds. They had to remove Moonbirds from the name,
Uh,
so they changed it to Nightbirds.
yeah, but that's probably just more exposure, though. Honestly,
Yeah. For I don't know, man. I don't know about that. It was gonna die anyways, in my opinion. But hey, you never know. People love the art, but I've seen
Mhm.
great art before, and we all know where those usually end up. Not so great in the week. In a week, that'll be double zeros for sure. But as not financial advice, you never know. They might fly. But again,
Yeah, it might fly. Pun
moonbirds.
intended.
Yeah, they might fly, but hey, yeah, we kind of over that, man. It's Goblin Town time, man.
Goblin
Did you hear the
sometime.
space yesterday?
Yeah, man, I was in that space last night. It was
How long were you in the space, Chris? Let me know. How long did you withstand that space?
I was there for a while, basically until my phone
Oh
died.
wow.
Yeah, probably
Oh
like 45 minutes,
wow.
45 minutes to an
So
hour.
so you like that, huh?
I don't.
You like shit like that, huh?
How often do you hear it? I mean, like, it's just you never hear stuff like
True.
that. So it's like, how often do you get to experience something that is just so bizarre and weird that like you've just never experienced it before? A bunch of grown-ups making goblin noises over a space to each other, and then I think the cherry on top was just having K Money come in there too. Pretty known comedian in the
Oh,
NFT
he came
space.
in?
Yeah, yeah, he came in and improv a little bit, and I thought that just kind of was like the cherry on top to the space.
Did he do one of these, man? I know you couldn't
I
see him over spaces, but I'm sure he was doing this the whole time, man.
Yeah, I think they were definitely getting him for it, so it was really funny, man.
Oh, nice. I heard there's a rumor that I think his name is Mike Judge from Beavis and Butthead. There's a rumor that he might be behind the goblins.
Yeah, maybe so.
There's a
Our
lot
our
of
our, gue-
rumors,
our
man.
guest today is going to know a lot more than I do about it. I've been watching Goblins from the outside in, so we can bring him up in a second and kind of get his feedback on it.
Oh yeah. I'm sure he knows a lot. He owns a lot, right? He owns some, but we'll talk to him in about a second. Do you? Is there anything else that you have, like any alpha you have out right now? Because I don't think there's much since yesterday. Not that I
Nah,
could
man,
see.
everything that's running has just been these like weird little derivatives. I did end up fading my ducks, made a decent profit,
Yeah, I
and
took an L on those.
and I faded them before they dropped. So I mean, I made probably like 0.09 off, so not bad. I mean, that's a mint somewhere.
Mm.
And I'll probably I'll use that in the future. So yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good. I didn't lose any money on this derivative run. I made a little bit,
Yeah, I lost money.
relatively.
Yeah, I lost money for sure, especially on those ducks. I blame you, Chris. FYI, you sent me
I
a DM of crap.
at 0.03 or under 0.03. It
Doesn't matter,
was.
Chris, man. It doesn't matter. You bought in. You dumped your bags. You bought in at 0.009,
Yeah.
and then you sent it to me at 0.03 when it's time for you to dump your bags, and you sold at 0.03. Isn't that ironic, Chris? Isn't that ironic? You dumped your bags on me.
Hey
Good to
man.
know. That's friends, right? Good to know. I got you. I got you. Yeah, but last night I was going ham trying to make my money back on DJ plays. I was chilling with Griff and them, and yeah, I got into some things. I made some money. I kind of lost a little bit, but I don't think I really lost anything yesterday. But I did make a little bit. I was going in on the baby goblins. Baby
Yeah.
goblins came through, and I bought a couple of those, and it mooned for 15 minutes. In that 15 minutes, I made some bread off of it, but then it just died. Like after 15 minutes, it died. Then we hopped into another project, and they was trying to get that to moon. I gotta check if any of mine sold, which I doubt it. Like I was like super DJing. Like I buy at 0.02, I list at 0.025. Yeah, it was like that. It was like that because I had no faith in any of these projects, like none, zero. So yeah, that's what I was doing last night, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty fun. Like overall, I did almost get my quacks back, my money I spent on quacks. I sold the quacks for a loss because again, I'm reading the charts now. It's going back down. Like it's out of there. That girl Morgan never came back with. She changed her PFP right away. She
Saw
never
that.
came. She didn't show up
Yeah.
to the quack space. Yeah, yeah. It was bad. It was bad. Well, hey,
I let I
it
let
was
go of
something
my
to do, right?
I let go of my second one on that last little jump. It like jumped up against like 0.088, and I think I sold mine at 0.08, and then it's kind of been down ever since. So yeah, and I saw those baby goblins run. Ironically, over that space that had over 2,000 people last night, I think they were just screwing around, but they were talking about baby goblins for a little bit. And I'm wondering if
Yeah,
that brought a little extra attention to that
it
15
did.
minutes that
It
you're
did.
talking
Yeah.
about. And I'm sure they're just screwing around. So it was just ironic that the
They're
project
not
was going to
screwing
run.
around. They're making money, Chris. They're
Oh
pumping
yeah,
bags.
oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure, for sure.
it's not what they're doing. They're intentional with their pumps. So yeah, yeah. But those baby goblins made me some bread. Then there was another baby goblins WTF
Saw
that
that.
came
Yeah,
on right after. Yeah, I bought a little bit, but those died right away. I thought they'll come up a little bit, but they died. So that's the game. Now I got more stuff to add to my hidden folder, man. But hey, at least I got rid of some stuff as well. Even at a loss, those quacks, I took a loss on those, which it was fine. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't like a like a 90% loss. Like if I
yeah,
would have
yeah, yeah.
waited one more day, yeah, it'd have dropped significantly. But we're here. It's another day, another DJing day. It's our Friday. We didn't hit the our Friday air horn, although it's Thursday. But we gotta hit that. We gotta hit that. We got a special guest today as well, man. You ready to bring him up or what's up?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Get the alpha on goblintown.wtf. What is up, Grape Dutch?
Hey, Great Dutch. What up? What up? What up?
What's going on, guys? Good morning, good morning.
Round of applause for you, Grape Dutch. How you doing?
Good, man. I'm on the West Coast, just getting up after a late night of watching charts dump last night. Finally getting a few hours of
Hmm.
sleep. Yeah, and just getting started. What about you guys?
Same, exact same. I didn't go to sleep till super late last night. Then I woke up like 15, 20 minutes ago, and now it's time to do the show. Yeah, that's that DJing life, man. We stay busy.
Yeah, especially recently with all the degen mints going on. Yeah, sleep is is few and far between this week.
Yeah, they all happen at that, like, well, for me, it's probably around like midnight-ish. I'm just kind of like watching my phone or my computer, and then I just see one take off, and then decide whether I want to stay up another 30 minutes, trying to do things with it.
Yeah, that's the thing
Yeah,
with all these plays. They're so quick and they're done so fast that you have to be like using all your tools, watching, acting, and then like getting out. Like can't sleep until you're out, pretty much.
yeah. So, Grape, how does it feel being Mister 679 in this space? Like, how does that feel? You're top 1,000 traders in Ethereum space. That's pretty damn good. This is the king of NFTs is Ethereum. Like, how does it feel being high ranked?
Let's go. They're dope. I didn't know that actually. I split
Oh,
up
you
all my
did?
wallets, so I
Oh
assumed
shit!
I was low. Good man, good. That's kind of cool to hear. But I mean, man, it's just been honestly more of luck than anything in the space, I think, and just being available all the time and having tools all the time, I think, is definitely the key there.
You say luck, but aren't you? You're a pretty active trader. Like I feel like when people say luck, like we've interviewed a few people that just bought a bunch of apes early and then just kind of let it
Yeah,
ride. But
that's real
like
luck.
I do see you on Ninja Alerts pretty often.
Every day.
Yeah, I do day trade, I guess. I do trade every day full time. I mean, I say luck. I feel like anyone that makes it in the space is lucky to a degree. Like it's so hard to tell sometimes what projects all of a sudden moon and 10x plus, like uh I lose money more than make money if you went just trade by trade, but I'm just lucky overall that my conviction or good plays have, outweighed all the small ones by a lot, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
that.
absolutely.
So I trade all the time daily, but I wouldn't say all my trades are great. You know what I mean? Like I just degen. I would almost say I more have a problem where I just love to mint daily. But yeah, my luck's been in the holds and the longer term plays and like believing in some of these brands that came up.
Do you believe in
Mm.
Goblin Town?
I do. I heard you say it before I came up that I like love them. It's more of I swept them yesterday. I got in and got out of them a couple times now. Like missed them in, saw them at point one and point two, and said they're hideous. I don't want them. The market wasn't as bearish as it is now, and as we got more bearish and the price went higher, they just appealed more and more. Like blue chips are less appealing this week, and goblins just fit the script so well. I
Yeah,
still
they're
think
ugly
I
enough.
yeah, and I still think they got some heat under them this week. Just team seems like obviously skilled. Not sure who's on it yet, but just execution and delivery and just like everything's on such a high level that they sparked my interest a lot more than anything else by a lot.
I think one of my favorite shit posts I've seen about the goblins is somebody said like everybody just wakes up and looks in the mirror and can tell that they resonate with their goblins. Thought
Yeah, with this week with all the lack of sleep, honestly, it's feeling more like that day by day turning into one.
Yeah. So what do you think? Like I've been watching the goblins kind of from the outside in. Like what really increases your convictions on them? I know we kind of talked about it a little bit. Like it's basically just obvious that they've ran projects before and that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, more like for me, it's more like a gut check. Like I just something screaming at me on the inside that they have something coming just on, and this is not financial advice. Like this is just me throwing out a gut check.
Of
It's
course.
just based on the rollout. So I guess a couple parts here. Based on the rollout of the team members, which they haven't gone into much detail, but it's been a very slow roll. Based on like the high level execution of everything so far, and the biggest part to all of this is based on the team holds 1,000 from mint that they got, and they haven't sold a single one, even with the prices where they're at. So
Yeah,
if
that's
this
pretty
team
crazy
has
actually.
no mint, they're only making royalties. Yeah, royalties are great right now. They've probably made almost 1,000 ETH or something. So yeah, it's some money, but to not sell any of the 1,000 goblins you own when it's over 2 ETH, like they definitely are confident in themselves, and they definitely like more's probably coming. For them to
Yeah,
sell zero,
and
it's just yeah, like there's definitely it's not over.
have you heard about the Mike Judge rumor from Beavis and
Yeah,
Butthead?
so the only reason I'm on the fence with that would be if it was him, he would have had to partner with a very high level executing team in the space. Like someone has their finger on the pulse.
Hmm.
It's just someone's very aware of where the space is at and the meta and just everything they did was just like they're very just attuned with what's going on and where the space is at. And I'm not sure if someone like that just by themselves would have been so in touch, if that makes
That's
sense.
very true. That makes perfect sense. So, if you could guess in this space, what team do you think is it? Do you think it's a new and non-team, or is it an established team that's already been in this space that's well known that's behind these goblins? Because there's Yuga
Honestly,
Lab rumors before, but that's not true.
no, yeah, I can say for certainty, like definitely not Yuga Labs. But I can hard to like throw a guess out, but I would say it's a maybe a smash up of friends that have all been on some successful teams or artists or projects, maybe some friends that came together or something of that nature. Like it seems like a group of orchestrated people. And I don't know if it's just necessarily another project pivoting, because after all like the Azuki FUD recently and all like the, I don't think people want a whole team just pivoting to another project, not saying, but maybe just like a smash up of a bunch of friends in the space or connected people that just, you know, when I look back to the early days of the Goblin, like I also don't see a bunch of coordinated pumps from people. So like I've tried to do my research on this, and I honestly am like lost. Like there's no direct line, which is the most intriguing
Mm,
part. Like that's why I'm so in on this.
nice. So you think
when you say
it's gonna run more? Uh,
I just think it's one news burst away from seeing like way crazier all-time highs. Like if there's an airdrop or if there's like, the team comes out and it is an established team or artist, I think like, it's just the catalyst is waiting.
when
I'm
you
not
say
sure
and
what they could do to have it drop off a cliff right now. And if the market gets more bear, I think that just helps them too. Like I don't know
that's
what they could do to fumble.
crazy to think about. When you say you're in on this, do you mind like disclosing how many goblins you own?
Yeah. So I bought like five a few days ago, and they all got swept for me yesterday when the pump went to like almost an ETH. And then I just got that gut check where I ended up dropping maybe 15 or 16 ETH, and I bought 15 at
Wow.
like the 1 ETH floor.
mm,
Wow. Okay.
And then I
Dang.
sold maybe six so far
double.
from 2 to 2.2.
This
And
guy.
but now I'm willing to hold the rest to like 0 or 5, or like
Yeah.
I I de-risked, and now I'm like super ready to ride this out. I'm with it. I'm going to Goblin Town.
Oh my god, dude, I was in that space for too long now. Just hearing them just ask all the time about like Goblin Town. It's like you got to speak Goblin. So can you speak Goblin? Owning that many goblins?
No, so I would never
Not yet.
partake in one of their. I would never speak in one of their spaces, but I will admit I was in there for like 2 hours plus yesterday. Just like I couldn't leave it. Just something
Two
about it,
hours? Wow, you
man. I
guys are crazy, man.
I
Both of
couldn't.
y'all.
It was just entertaining, honestly, with how like rough the market's been. It was just funny. It was needed.
It's an accurate representation of like everybody's just so done. Like right now, like the market's been so trash. This week's been so trash. Everybody's just like, let's just talk a weird little language that we don't have to focus or think about anything and just troll. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many deriv mints you can do in a row before speaking Goblin. After minting
Yeah,
some of these things like back to back to back, I just feel like, yeah, Goblin's probably the proper language.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty original. I must admit, like it's out there. I'm just mad I missed it. Now, I started following you after, like, I started following your wallet after I noticed you bought a whole bunch of Goblin Town at very very low, like 0.05 or something, when I was fading it saying this is trash, nobody's gonna buy this, and I saw you bought a bunch. Then all of a sudden you sold a bunch for a lot more than you bought it for, and I was like, oh man. Then I saw you jump into the hot dogs as well
Oh, the
and
hot
also
dogs.
profited off those hot dogs. Like where do you get these from? Like how do you get these convictions to get these low mints and flip so successfully?
It's just a numbers game, I'll be honest. Like a 10, like I'll see it on Moby, 10-second check of like, is there a Twitter, is there a Discord, is the art like obviously stolen or not? And if all those things are not awful answers, I'll just spend zero point 0.5. So pretty much what I do is I take 0.5 ETH a night almost, and I'll just degen min late into the night when I'm bored. And at the end of the week, it'll average out about either the same, maybe up a little bit, but it's more of like the entertainment just scratching an itch all week, to be honest with you. It's more of like a, I don't know if it's a good thing, but I just sometimes you get lucky, and the thing with these plays is you never know when something could go to 2 or 3 ETH off something that was free. Like it's happened in the past. There's things like NFT worlds. I mean, there's been things all the way in the past to now where like this happens, And if you're just
Hmm.
around and you're minting these things in bulk, like one of them will offset all of these bad ones. And that's not financial advice, but when the markets are kind of slow like this on blue chips, that's just kind of how it works.
So you're just throwing darts, whatever sticks, you eat.
Yeah. I do this for fun on the day trades, and then I get conviction plays over time, and you'll watch my wallet randomly just all in spend 10, 20, 50, 100 ETH on a project, and then you're like, all right, like that's obviously the one I picked for whatever span of time, and then you'll see me
Mhm.
vault it, and I won't sell those things for 6 months plus. But like in between all those moments, it's just when I do all the crazy T-gen late night, just to scratch the itch until something worthwhile comes up,
So
which lately has been not a lot.
Is Moby usually your first exposure to like, okay, it looks like this is, possibly going somewhere?
Yeah, just for the finding the on the fly stuff. Like
Okay.
for anything else, I'll use Ninjalerts, I'll use NFT nerds, I'll do more like, watch certain wallets or watch projects long term before I make plays. But Moby is just strictly in this kind of environment. Like I'm literally just seeing what's minting really fast and what hasn't sold out, and if I can find the website real quick or the contract, and just all these projects sell out pretty quick. The ones that do okay, most of them sell out in like 10 minutes, and you just got to kind of be there when it starts minting. And if not, you're buying secondary, and it gets messy. So like Moby definitely is it for this specific thing. Like like the number one thing you should just live by if you're trying to degen mint.
So
Doing that many degen mints, as somebody who just like, I usually do more secondary action. Is there anything in the contract you like briefly check just to make sure like you're not like you're gonna get your wallet compromised or anything, or like do you
Yeah,
do
so
any check like that?
I mean I have like a series of hot wallets, like from Lattice to Ledger to hot wallet. So if I'm ever using a hot wallet, it's like I'm not super. If anything got swiped from there, it's kind of I'm willing in that wallet. Then that's for like the super degen stuff. But generally, I'm not. I mean, I'm not the best with contract safety here. But generally, I feel like if you're minting from contract, you don't sell the
yeah,
token, you're okay at first. So I normally would just I'll mint. Like if I see a bunch, hundreds of mints coming through, I'll throw in a mint because chances are if there's that many mints, which not necessarily the best rule of thumb to go by, but chances are if there's that many mints piling in, as long as nothing looks crazy, it I'll mint and not sell it immediately. Just kind of watch what happens for a little bit. And as long as everything seems okay, then yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
yeah. And in terms of that, I do believe minting from contract with these free mints is just a little safer than minting from their website, because then you don't know what pops up after you click mint. It could be something else, you didn't read it. It might just drain your wallet, but it's just a little safer, in my opinion, to mint from contract with all these free mints going on.
100%.
But
So I'll add that. I'll look at the website from Moby just to like check out the art and how it was put together or whatever. But I always try to mint from contract and not connect to websites just to avoid that. That's like one extra step just to, yeah, not, and also don't sign anything, when you connect. If you
mm,
do connect to a site, don't sign anything if it looks weird.
okay, cool. So after, let's say you missed the mint, you noticed it on Mobi and it's going out and it mints out in 10 minutes. Like, what indicator makes you think it's a good potential to jump in after that point? Like, what do you look at? Like, how many minutes? I mean, how many mint? I mean, how many buys in 10 minutes? Like, what indicators do you look at for you to believe this will be a success?
So mainly, if I catch it after a sellout, I only check a couple stats, and it's going to be just the holder count, and if there was like a max per wallet, and as long as the holder count checks out and it wasn't like one per wallet, and that's why the holder count was so good, uh, then I guess third I would check the volume. But as long as all those things check out, I would probably like that's when I would sweep. I guess the other big factor here that's missing is I'm always in alpha groups or like voice chats. So there's always like
Hmm.
comms going on. And if I hear everyone start to talk about these things, that's obviously the biggest indicator. Like if everyone on their own says, "Oh, hey, did you see this on Moby? Did you see this thing sell out? What do you guys think?" And everyone's like, "Oh, I like those. I like those." You know, that's obviously the biggest indicator too. If everyone on their own just starts positively talking about things. Like I
And
won't just
that's
sweep
the
something on my own if I hear nobody talk about it, even if the volume looks decent. Like
uh,
there's someone normally brings up, you'll hear multiple people bring it up while it's going on. If it looks like if any of these things we talked about earlier, check out.
oh, nice. And this is from the voice chat in NVHQ. You're pretty big
Yeah,
on NVHQ, correct?
yeah. I'm in some other alpha groups and have been a part of some, but Metaverse HQ, hands down, I think is one of the better ones in the space. I spend a lot of time over there.
So, how long you been in NVHQ? Did you start from Mint? Did you come from NBA Top Shot, or like what's your journey in NFTs?
Uh, That's a good one. So all of the above. So I did mint my tokens, and I did come
Mm.
from Top Shot originally. So I started with Top Shot, and then after Top Shot, pretty much I looped a bunch of Top Shot packs and then cashed that out of ETH. And then I started minting like some bad projects back in the day, like CryptoZillas and Thick Pokemon and just
You
some
said dick
crazy stuff.
Pokemon?
Yeah,
Thick.
yeah,
You
that was
said dick Pokemon.
man. I
Ah,
swear that was
shit.
like a trend for a little bit. It's exactly what you imagine. Like someone just drew just big asses on a bunch of Pokemon, and that was like a popular meme NFT for a little bit.
That's
And
hilarious.
throughout that course of these like crazy, awful, like real degen pixel bad Fiverr art projects, found the Metaverse group that was originally, I guess, a Top Shot group, but I missed them from that. Like I caught them more on their NFT transition, and then yeah, caught
Mm,
their mint on that, which was like 0.12 or something back then. It was nuts. And then
mm.
yeah, their community just evolved over there to what it is today. And it was just super organic and good traders. Like a lot of good traders end up over there, and it's just really good, really good news in the space. So I grew with them pretty much. Like they are hands down like a huge part of my success story of just being around those traders and learning from the best people over there, and just learning to go with your gut and to go heavy into mints and invest. And I was real skittish at first, so it definitely, took some time over there with them and just growing with the space as the space grew.
We have had the honor of having a lot of them on here. We've had Griff on here. We've had JJ, Isis, uh,
Jacob Myers,
Jacob
Oh wow,
Myers.
yeah. I
I
like all of them a lot.
think I'm missing.
Mitch.
Oh
Oh yeah,
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 yeah.
Mitch. Was Jinzo on here? Do we have Jinzo on
yeah.
here?
We had
Yeah,
Genzo.
Jinzo.
We had
Yeah,
Poopaloop.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
yeah, you had the whole crew. God,
And
I'm the
you
last
now.
on. Yeah, I'm the last on. Jeez. Yeah, they're all really, really solid guys. So I mean, yeah, you've probably got a good feel for the group from just talking to all them.
Yeah,
Yeah, really
JJ's actually
experienced
jumped on
traders.
twice.
Yeah,
JJ is awesome, man. He's really good to
JJ's
talk
worth
to.
having on a lot. Yeah, that guy is full of
Yeah.
so much knowledge, man. He has his hands in so many roles in the space that yeah, you could probably talk to him for an hour about so many different things each time, just because he's like a sponge. That guy just
He,
absorbs everything around him.
he's also big into the gaming side, which
Yep.
Ken and myself are both interested in as well. So
Nice.
kind of
Yeah,
nerded out over that.
that's also one of my favorite areas to invest in is play to well play to earn, play and earn gaming, or whatever you want to call it now. That honestly is not gonna lie, just being honest, that probably is my biggest hit right now with the market. Play
Really?
to earn. Yeah, just I love it. I'm still like really committed to play to earn gaming. Just my bags right now, the PFP and meme stuff's a lot more favored right now. And a lot of my play to
Mm-hmm.
earn games are just dealing, they're not ready for months. They're not gonna be ready for 6 to 12 months, some of them. So they're just dealing with just the downtrend right now really bad because
Yeah, a
everyone
lot of
knows
them are
they're not ready
down
yet.
bad right now.
Yeah, not worth selling now. That's what I was saying. Like I'm bullish on them. I have no reason to sell any of the stuff I'm invested in game wise. So, just gonna hold that till the game's actually out. But it's just it's clear to see
So
why
there's no
investors
game
do
at
that.
all. Which bags you got?
Oh man. I'll just mention a couple because I don't want to pump all the bags I have. But the ones that are like if you don't know about, honestly, like you should definitely spend the time and educate yourself on would be
Mm-hmm.
Guild of Guardians for a
Okay.
mobile game. It's
It's an Unmutable X, correct?
Yep. Immutable
Cool.
X and Ubisoft pretty much partnered and
Mm-hmm.
bought out or some kind of collaboration with a Australian team and a Ukrainian team, Stepico. It's an
Mm-hmm.
older game. They like reskinned and modded and changed up and added layers to be a NFT game. So it actually is on track to be out in a year. Like there's years of development that were already done on the game side. Now it's more just adding a couple layers and incorporating, the play to earn part, which is realistic. Their budget's like hundreds of $1 million that they VC funded already from Immutable and other
Mm.
companies. They sold their assets for $10 to $200. It's going to be a mobile game. It's like a dungeon crawler. There's guilds. Just everything about them just really checks all the boxes of just it is sustainable potentially. When it comes out, they will have marketing. They won't go anywhere in a bear market. Just a really good mobile game to check out. Other than that, I'm pretty invested into big time for a computer potential console, same kind of style, like open world game. And then I would say also check out Illuvium.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Maybe
you're
Phantom
big on Illuvium?
Galaxies.
Did you get to play the beta
Yeah,
or the alpha, whatever they called it?
I watched people play it. I haven't played it myself, but the loop looks okay. It just looks like
Mm-hmm.
something that could become popular. And their battle loop looks like something that could be sustainable for at least X amount of time until the open world comes out. So those were more on my later list. Guild of Guardians and Big Time being on more the front end of the list. Guild of Guardians being definitely number one. Um, but yeah, I think those all have potential.
Guild of
Illuvium
Guardians
looks
currently
good.
on the computer, correct? Like it's currently a
It
computer
No,
application,
it's only going to be mobile at first.
only
Their
mobile.
their
Okay.
website might make it look like computer right now, like maybe their cinematic video, but it's going to be a mobile game at first, which I think mobile game and $10 to $200 assets is like a real audience. My
Hmm.
biggest problem with a lot of these
Mm.
play to earn games, and I started really bullish, and as time goes on, a little more embarrassed, just like a little bit,
Yeah,
is
me
they're
too.
they're trying to squeeze us as the investors too much up front, where there's not mass adoption yet. And in order for us to make
Hmm.
money, it's you got to sell to someone else. Like it's that's just how these games work. There has to be a buyer, like a
That's how
receiver for your
Ponzi's work.
goods. Yeah, well, you know what I mean. With these games, any game for any economy to work in these kind of games and be at least sustainable in the short term as the game grows, like all games should aim to grow, and that's how these economies
Hmm.
go. So call it a Ponzi for some, but there's like a healthy way to do it that's
Yeah.
more natural, you know. And some of these companies are squeezing us as the investor so soon to get this funding for a game that they don't have the 200 to 600,000 player base that they're aiming to sell these assets to. So they're striking their numbers up so high when the proof's not in the pudding yet. Like they don't have this player base and they're charging a lot of money. Where
A
consensus
lot.
for a normal person, they're not down to pay more than $50. Like nowadays, it's a lot of free games with like gotchas, let alone 100, 500, 1,000, 10,000 for an asset. So I think a lot of these games have to reevaluate and aim more at like $10 to $100 mark to get a bunch
Mm.
of users on. And any game trying to sell their wares this early for that much, it's like smoke and mirrors, kind of like, you just got to be. I'm starting to be more weary of these companies that are asking for hundreds of millions up front when like they haven't delivered anything.
Yeah.
Mm.
Completely fair.
Uh,
But
how do
yeah,
you feel about Phantom Galaxy? They just launched their planet sale, and like the biggest planet, the A planet, which is the biggest planet, goes for $150,000.
yeah. So uh, I'm pretty aware of Phantom Galaxies. I had a bunch of hopeful passes that I got completely just burned on and sold out of all before their planet sale because I decided I was just good. Uh,
Mm.
their game is it's tough. I'm starting to get really bearish on Animoca, kinda.
Mm. They're spreading
Just
itself thin.
exactly. I think that's why I put Phantom Galaxy was on that list I said earlier, but at the very end, I wouldn't be
Mm.
investing into a lot of their expensive assets now. But I do think that game has a very high quality, polished look that might attract quote unquote. It has a chance to attract quote unquote the masses. But they're doing that same thing we just talked about, where they're assuming it's going to happen, and they're charging a ton for all these assets, and so many that like uh the problem with them is just two parts. One, I'll start with on Bearish and Animoca and then go to the Phantom Galaxies. But Animoca
Mm.
is cool, but it's pretty much like a monopoly that's buying a bunch of studios and then smashing up their older assets of older games they developed to produce new NFT Web3 games. So I just get scared that they're just trying to produce a bunch of products and hope one or two stick, which is great. That's probably how this is going to work, and they'll probably be successful in one or two of their games. But as an investor, I see what they're doing. Any studio they're working with, they're bought out. If you look up their last three games and then you look at what they're producing, it's literally all those old assets, like Phantom Galaxy, Bluefish Studios. They produce three space mecha suit flying around games, and they're using all these similar assets, and they're making Phantom Galaxies. So yes, they might be able to produce a game within 2 years because they have a jump start, but it's like all these failed games that never made it. So now you're adding NFTs for
Mm.
10,000, 5,000, $150,000. What makes why is it going to work now? And if you actually play their 1, 2, and 3 story they have out, just the lore, the story text is kind of like funky. Like it's just not super
Yeah, it
smooth
is.
yet. Their wording and
Yeah, it
stuff's
is.
weird. So it's clear that they have the assets. It looks beautiful, but like them actually putting it together in the storyline and stuff is just missing big, and that's what's going to make games like deliver like long term. So some of the key, like it looks great from 3 feet away, but when you really get up and look at like the stuff, it gets more scary and scary as you like take it apart. So like I like them, and I like what they're doing as like a business person. I respect them, but as an investor, I'm weary of Animoca. Just on, I don't know what bed to hop into with them because they have so many, and a lot
They
of
have
them
a
While
are
lot
hard
of
to make in.
beds.
while we're
Yeah.
on gaming, for a personal question, I'm sure people watching, like, Do you have a recommendation for people wanting to get, like, say they want to get into Guild of Guardians? Like, is there like specific characters you'd recommend them buy, or like, do you have any like knowledge on those areas? Or I would say Illuvium, but Illuvium hasn't even dropped the NFT, right? ETH Lizards
Yeah,
isn't really part of it, to my
the cool
knowledge.
thing with the Guild of Guardians, it probably won't be out for like 6 to 12 months. Realistically, out. They had an alpha out a couple weeks ago. They let people play for a week and then maybe 2 weeks, shut it down, like just because they're working on stuff. There's so much time to buy. That's the cool thing that I wouldn't even say to buy yet. I'd wait 3 months and just let them develop, come out with more stuff. Like there's enough supply and downtime that you don't no rush to even invest, and just let them keep building. But when you do, like after all the research I did, I would say their energy tokens is definitely would be the thing. If anything, if you're going to speculate, I'd grab a few of those. If you're going to play, I'd grab one of those. But it's their game's energy based, and that token gives you extra energy daily. So if you're a serious player, you're going to want that extra energy every single day. Like that's definitely going to be the thing that's like the bottleneck in terms of how many they produced. And if they have more than 14,000
Your
players,
connection is going in and out a little bit. I don't know if it's
oh, can
just
you hear me
me.
now?
Nah, I think it's you, Ken, because you're the
Oh,
only
it's
one that,
me.
yeah, you're kind of jumping around.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, there's only like 14,000 of those currently, so I'm pretty confident they'll have more than 14,000 players just based on their like alpha and the feed. Like I've just watched them for the last year. So that's like definitely an item I know will be bottlenecked. But also like that game's cool because you can spend $100 and get 10 characters or something. You can get a
Yeah,
bunch of assets and you're good. Like you don't need to spend, and you don't even need to spend the 100. You can spend $10, get one character, and you're ready to play. They'll also
yeah,
have
that's cool.
free to play characters, but the $10 character will
Mm.
give you a head start that personally is probably worth it. Like if you're gonna play more than an hour a week, it's probably worth at least the $10 to grab one of those guys. But yeah, it's just a realistic.
Sweet.
It's like you can pay nothing and play and still have a great experience. It'll just take you 2 months to catch up to someone who bought these NFTs in
Yeah.
terms of like leveling the character or whatever.
I almost bought one forever ago, like when Immutable X was really having its volume run, which I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I don't even know what the
Yeah,
price is, but yeah, it kind of got nuts for a
probably
while.
down 80%, to be honest with you. Like
Yeah, it
just
probably
all
is.
gaming and Immutable X stuff. Like I'm still bullish. I love
Oh,
all of that stuff. It's just yeah, like where the market is right now. It's like degen and blue chips only, and this like gaming, not
Yeah.
ready for a year, not proven blue chip yet stuff is just like taking a beating.
I got wrecked on that run. I got
Yeah,
wrecked hard on that run. I bought some like bad grandmas. I bought some like some like
This guy, man.
weird projects, dude. And yeah, then the Immutable X volume just died because it was Astro Bros. I did mint
oh
those.
yeah, that
I did
did
mint those, and
those did okay.
they did do okay because Alex Becker like
Yep,
tweeted
yeah,
about him or whatever.
he pumped them
Um,
for a little bit.
and then Gary even mentioned Immutable X just as like a layer 2 solution around the time. But I went out of town that weekend, so I bought them for like whatever the price was, like 0.04, 0.03. And when I went out of town, I bought a couple, and they're all at like 0.4, 0.5, and I couldn't sell because I wasn't next to my computer. And by the time I got back in town, they were like back down to like 0.1. So I missed a pretty good gain on that. And I forgot to mint Moody Crows. Were you around for that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I was on a allow list, dude. I was talking to the founder. I was so excited. Completely missed the mint. Forgot to mint my two Moody Crows. Missed on that volume. So
Those
lots of
did
big.
really well too.
They did. They did.
Alex Becker, I think, had something to do with that as well, though.
He
And
did.
Gary V, he shilled Immutable because he actually has a project that's little known on Immutable. He has an NFT over on Immutable,
Yeah.
Book
a
games.
TikTok series he did. Oh, and book games.
Oh.
I forgot about book games. So
Yeah.
before book games, he has an NFT on there from a TikTok series he did. TikTok did a collab with Immutable, and then yeah, I forgot he launched his book games on
I
Immutable.
remember that, dude. That was a huge fail. That was like Coinbase NFT marketplace level fail. Like everybody was like, dude, TikTok's coming to NFTs to Immutable.
Yeah.
And then like it didn't do anything. Like I think they stayed at like 0.4 for a bit, and then they just died. They were so dumb. Like it was so stupid.
It's a bummer too because I do like Immutable. Like it's a
Mhm.
really good layer two so far. Like it's pretty user friendly and it's really cheap gas fees and all that good stuff. But yeah, like the marketplace as of now hasn't taken off. Like I'm hopeful. Well, I guess now that I say that, I'm like, they had some big brands already come there, but I am hopeful more brands will. Pretty much, it seems like a bunch of VC or major companies are coming through them to launch eventually. So I do think you'll see a bunch of major players come and use them for their layer two, but
Yeah,
I think it'll
GameStop's
take a
using them,
year or
huh?
two. No, so GameStop did a weird one. GameStop took which I don't want to say this exactly. Like if I say this wrong, I apologize. But from what I gathered, it was GameStop took a big token allocation from them to do some kind of partnership, quote unquote. It seemed exclusive to the public, but it wasn't. GameStop proceeded to immediately dump all their Guild of Guardian token after getting them, which like plummeted the price from the $8 or $6 range down to like the $2 range a few months back.
Oh
And
wow.
then after that, GameStop did their own marketplace and a wallet with Loopify on a layer 2, which is not immutable. So
Wow.
actually,
Okay.
this last week I saw a wrench got thrown, so I'm not sure exactly what
Hmm.
happened, but I'm pretty sure GameStop is not exclusive to Immutable. Immutable actually was like their alternative layer 2, and I think Loopify in their wallet's going to be their main driving force soon, marketing wise. But we'll see. But yeah, I was hoping GameStop would help Immutable too, but I think GameStop's going to have their own marketplace
Yeah, I
or
know
their
they're
own
gonna have their
things.
own wallet as well, which is like I don't trust any of my assets to GameStop's wallet.
Yeah, they actually launched it. I actually am looking at the extension right now. Uh, it's cool. I mean, you get a 12-word seed phrase. I believe you can import your other wallet too into it.
Hmm.
Honestly, I think it's the same kind of thing.
I did, I
Uh,
did I did see a deal, by the way. I guess this is a little bit of alpha if anybody's interested in that. They're running like basically allow list for like the first amount of users to get the wallets. I would need to pull it up later, but basically they're trying to incentivize people to go use their platform. So they're like giving allow list spots,
wow, all right, that's cool. That is alpha.
but I need to find exactly
Yeah,
what it was.
that's not alpha, man. Nobody cares, Chris. Let's
Wow.
be real.
Uh,
We're not gonna look that up.
I forgot that Ken was a layer one maxi, but yeah, there's money
You
to be
already
made
know.
in the rest of the space. But
And
yeah, that's cool,
Polygon,
man.
yeah.
What about Illuvium? Do you like I know they haven't launched their NFT yet, but do you like hold the token?
So I bought SLIV when they got hacked in between that getting
Gosh.
dumped, and I thought I was lucky to get a price on it, and they matched it 1 for 1 with their new airdrop, but the price did not recover that well from
Mm,
all of that, so it ended up not being that great of a play. So with Illuvium, I like their game, but I sold the token and I am not purchasing their land sale only because, again, the realization of I'm not going to be the guys testing out their huge expensive asset drop, but I will be definitely the guy playing their game when it comes out and then buying assets if the game seems to be, you know, sustainable,
Playable.
playable. Yeah, playable mainly. And then if the economy seems sustainable or there's real interest or, if there's real potential when they launch a quote unquote polished product, I rather invest then and take the risk from there than buy their
Mhm.
the pre-sale, which should definitely be to help investors. But yeah, I feel like lately the pre-sales are not supply is over demand and they haven't been that lucrative in the short macro.
got you.
Yeah. Moving back to Animoca brand, how confident are you that the other side land is gonna turn out well? Because you're an ape holder, correct?
Funny enough, so I actually sold my ape this morning. I still own like five or six. Well,
Oh,
but I
well,
still own five or
okay.
six mutants, and I still own ape token, and like I'm still bullish, and
Okay.
I'm going to buy back in. I just think with where potentially the market could go in the short term, I think sadly the top end blue chips will probably feel a hit in the liquid market area. Like I think their markets will become more liquid faster.
Hmm.
So I tested the waters and I listed it a week ago, a little above floor, and I didn't really get a lot of bites. So as the week went on and ETH started to dip last night, I just lowered it to the floor and then took an offer after just personally because I'm really bullish on you guys, a company. I love them. Like I everything I've ever bought of theirs has done really well. I've always held 6 months or longer, and everything's done phenomenal. Like they've delivered completely. Just in the short term, they just produced other side. So I think the same
Hmm.
premise is it's going to take them 6 months to really have these assets go up. Just like all, I mean, it's a copy and paste of all their stuff. They launch something for the first month or two, it pops for a week. 8mint took a couple weeks to pop or a couple months to pop, but all their other stuff, it pops for a couple days, it cools off for a couple months, everyone sleeps on it, and all of a sudden they start rolling out stuff and everything starts to exponentially go through the roof. So I just think since they just put out the other side, I think they're 6 months to a year. There's like mecha dogs and other things on the roadmap coming out, but I own a dog. I own mutants. Like I think I'll be able to partake in that stuff. And I think apes just had a lot of their stuff given to them. So I think you'll see like just 6 months of them building. So I think I have time to get out now and get back in later, maybe with an ape I like a little bit better for maybe a better
Hmm.
price is kind of what I'm thinking. But like still bullish on them as a whole. I just think, yeah, if market takes any more damage, those top tier assets are just going to be a little liquid for a little bit and might
Oh
bleed out.
man, so we used that ape for this banner, so we're gonna get
Yo, you might just switch
we're
it
gonna
to the
get
goblin.
We're gonna get flagged for copyright now.
You might my Twitter's still a
IP.
hexagon, I think. The wallet hasn't updated.
Okay,
You might
okay,
have to.
it's in transition
Yeah,
right
it
now.
won't flag you yet, say, but worst case, switch it to a goblin. Just Photoshop a goblin over it. But no,
We
I
were
think
talking
you'll be
about
fine.
the Seth Green situation yesterday or the day before that.
Oh
Yeah,
God, yeah,
yeah. Are
that
you
that was
familiar with
bad.
Submarine?
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah. That was a sad situation to happen. But I
Yeah, it
mean, it
was.
just shows you wallet safety. Like, I mean, I don't know what he was clicking or what he was doing, but like, if you have a bunch of assets you're going to use for a TV show, that should probably be in a separate ledger you don't touch and you're not
Yeah.
clicking links on. Just, and if you are, well, just because you're really rich and famous, does that mean you are immune to like reality? You can't be doing that. Everybody, doesn't matter how expensive your assets are, like everyone, if you value it, should have it on a separate thing.
Yeah. I was telling
But
Ken,
Man.
I don't like. I feel like he was probably more upset that he's gonna have to like figure all this out and maybe like shoot a new ape or something, and then actually like the money loss.
No, no. The money loss is pretty high.
yeah, well, I,
It's
I
Maybe
would
pretty
if
agree
high.
though. I would agree that I think, yeah, this is more of a headache. Like, he can't just buy something on the floor right now. Like, he already made a show. Like, what? He's at hostage to these people that bought it. That he
yeah,
has to say, hey, I'm gonna
Dark. What
flag
is it?
it as
Darkwing
stolen
84.
or sell it
Darkwing
back.
84.
Yeah, he's got to pretty much tell him like, hey, sell it back to me, or I'm gonna flag it as stolen, and you're gonna have a stolen ape or something. So it's just a crappy situation. Like, I feel bad for everyone involved because he clicked link. It just
Yeah.
caused extra stress to everybody. So yeah, I hope it
Yeah.
works out for him. Like, I hope he can get the ape pack and not have to redo anything, or at least the main character or something. But just, yeah, just awful.
We did talk about it yesterday slightly. Ken mentioned that in the apes terms of service that if it's stolen, then you don't own the copyright. I think where it gets fishy is that it was bought by somebody who maybe didn't know that it was stolen. Possibly, like, at least they could plead ignorant. Have you heard about that? About as far as like if it's stolen, it you can still maintain the copyright.
Uh, so I'm not sure exactly on that exact part, but I know like if someone calls OpenSea and files a police report, OpenSea is pretty centralized. They're just going to mark it as stolen, and like you got to prove it otherwise. Period. It gets shut down and locked. So just that alone is like such a headache,
Yeah,
just to try to
Yeah, it
sell it on
is.
another market or whatever. Like, it's a tainted good at that point where, yeah, like, yeah, it's tough. And the person that bought it, if they didn't know, obviously it's not their fault. But the way the space is right now, with at least centralized marketplace and stuff, is, yeah, now you have stolen property technically, and OpenSea is going to flag it until until you can prove it, and like no one wants to deal with that. Just what a mess.
yeah, for
Just the
sure.
awful thing for both parties. But yeah, I don't know exactly on the copyright side, but I wouldn't surprise me if in that huge thing they have it says something like that.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I want to circle back to the question. Like, do you how confident are you that Animoca brand will like come through with other side land?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. Literally went off from that. I would say
No, that's cool.
honestly, like I own a bunch of other side lands. I even invested in like a chaos plot. Like, I'm bullish on them long term, but
Mhm.
I do think it's like a 15 to 35% chance that it's like a
Oh wow.
smashing hit. Well, I mean, I'm saying like like huge hit, like what they're envisioning. Like, I
Mm.
definitely think we'll all play it, and I think it will be popular in our community no matter what. But I'm talking like mass adoption, like huge AAA
Mm.
studios coming to buy plots and build mini experiences on them, like that kind of thing. Like, I think that's the 15 or 35, like that window of chance. And that's I'm talking like huge hit, major world success. Like, it's just, and it's more of, I don't think it's going to be Animoca that does it. That's the thing. I think what they're trying to build is going to be an open source platform with Improbable as the technology. And I think they're going to open it up for developers and companies to come build their own experience. So do I think Animoca's graphics of the land, because I think they're doing the actual what the lands look like. Do I think their
Mm.
original graphics of the land before we build on it will be the best? No. But do I think an open source code or a AAA studio could come in and build an improbable technology? That's what I'd be bullish on. Like, not Animoca necessarily building an experience that becomes world popular. It's someone taking the open source, like the building SDKs and doing their own world, on a piece of land and making their own experience that's like a real AAA studio, that kind of thing, if
Mm,
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's good.
yeah. So other side versus sandbox, which one would win?
So it's so tough because we saw so little of other side yet. But just if
Mm,
they do like more Unreal style, like more like human-y graphics, less Roblox, Minecraft stuff, I think that's just gonna
mm,
win. I mean, their cinematic or the game so far from what they showed looked like an Epic Games Fortnite-esque art style landscape, animation movements like that. I think would resonate more with mass adoption. Like I know Roblox stuff's popular, like this, like that blocky stuff, but I think with the
yeah.
metaverse and where we're going, like I think the more modern-y looking, like I think what they showed looks more. If they do the open world right, I think those graphic styles would fit more. At least
Like,
personally, at
isn't
least
that
for the
like
older crowd.
Decentraland?
Yeah, I think the graphics look the best on the other side so far than any of the other things I've seen. Voxel or whatever that one's called, Sandbox. Like I think there's Decentraland. I still think the other side looked the cleanest from the short example we
Mm.
saw.
Yeah, it does look clean. I'm not gonna lie, but only time will tell, right? When they actually start bringing some utilities to these things. Do you own a Coda?
Yeah, I have a couple codas.
A
I sold a
couple,
couple this
nice.
last week. Yeah, so I swept the floor on codas the day they came out, and like on reveal.
Mm,
Um, and then I had a bunch of mutants at the time, so I minted and got one on my lands. But due to the market, I sold all but a couple just because same thing. Like they're just I think they'll be sitting for a long time. There's plenty of time until news comes out. Um, but I do think if Yuga's gonna make a 10K collection and make them special, like it was a chance to get them on the lands, I definitely think there'll be more to the story. Like I definitely think there'll be a use case. So I looked at it as like instead of having a couple of the mutants, I'd rather have some codas. Or like if I was to keep mutants or codas, I'd probably rather definitely have a coda if I was to pick
mm.
overall. So I think like yeah, at least my gut, like I'm speculating that codas will be. I'm hoping they'll be useful. So I
I've,
More
s-
definitely
I've
think
seen
valuable than
I-
mutants.
I've seen that argument of like mutants versus codas. Is very interesting.
yeah. Well, it's tough. They mention in their obelisk page like there might be another some other creature or thing or something else. So like I don't know if there'll be more than 10K or like other. I don't know if this will expand. But just like if they are building a game and it has some utility in the game, um, yeah, I think that'll be worth something. And mutants, I love. I just think like mutants got a bunch of handouts recently. Like, what could they do? And I could be completely wrong, but like, what could they do at this point to keep bringing that kind of level of value to mutants, where codas have nothing yet? It's a fresh slate, brand new IP, so to say. And mutants have already gotten so much, and they have staking coming out, and like, there's potentially other stuff on the roadmap this year where I think, yeah, you might see some more value driven to codas or like some story built out around them and some more excitement going to that story.
So for the general market, like you said, you sold your ape this morning. Obviously, for those viewing, like nothing in these videos are financial advice, but like, are you seeing things getting worse in the next few weeks or months? And if so, then why?
So that starts tough. So I think there'll be a lot of derivatives and things and like fun projects that come out that will do okay. And I definitely think there'll be some blue chips that form from all of this in the next few months. I just think the mass adoption wasn't happening as fast as everyone hoped currently. If markets or world events stay more unstable, I think people are just going to realize, at least for me personally, like I still haven't bought a home yet. And I'm just kind of realizing with my fiance, like with some of these NFTs, it's worth almost $200,000. Like, what am I doing? I got a bunch of value from it, but like, if things stay uncertain, like, why keep some of these things that are so expensive for like I love the utility is great, but it's like in real life meetups and stuff. There's got to be a cap that I think some of these blue chips will get a cap if the world gets any more strict or like financials or any more kind of crisis. I think the blue chips will come down a little bit on the top prices just because it's getting crazy.
I completely
Yeah,
agree.
a lot of them are coming down right now. Have you seen PXN is at 1 ETH now?
Yeah,
Uh, Cool Cats is at 3. Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
that's a sad one too. But that's what I mean. And those are more, even those prices, those are more kind of like I could understand if someone loves the project or whatever. But some of these, again, like 100 ETH, some of these when they were, it's like, like what can they do? Which I say this, but as I say this, I think in my head, like, well, apes really did deliver in the last few months to me a bunch of stuff that, they did deliver a lot, and it is possible,
Yeah.
but the market was hot. It's just, I guess we're talking if the market stays kind of sideways right now, like where we're at or lower, then yeah, I think I personally feel like there won't be a crazy rally. Like the chance of an ape from here 2xing versus the chance of a deriv I can mint 2xing. Like I feel like, I know that sounds crazy, but in this current state of markets, like
Mhm.
the cheaper, funner stuff, don't put all your eggs in a basket. Like just spend what you're totally willing to lose. But at least for me, day trading and things, I think yeah, blue chips might come down. I might as well park it in ETH or USDC for a little bit, let things settle out, just hop back in when I think it's right. And if it goes up and I miss my chance and I don't want to buy in again, I'm happy. I'm happy with what I've got so far from all that stuff. Where I'm okay, like to not buy back into apes necessarily or things of that nature. Like I'm at peace. And if it goes down, I'd love to buy back in. I personally just get the gut check of like, I don't know if I want to hold any assets worth over 50 ETH for one NFT that doesn't have like
Mm.
a real driving utility I can extract. Like my risk tolerance, I guess, is just starting to taper down the more the markets kind of trend like this.
Completely understand, man. I understand on a much smaller scale, like significantly smaller scale, but like I understand where you're coming from.
And I know a
Mm.
bunch of friends too. It's just wild. Like I know a bunch of friends in the space that haven't bought a home yet. Like they're in my spot and they're holding some of these things and they are not selling. And I'm just like, man, like I wish. So a lot of them are single. And then I feel like, I'm engaged now and
Yeah.
I'm looking to get married. I feel like maybe that's part of it. Like I'm starting to, just mature, I guess, on that front. But I'm watching some of them, like living through some of them, just holding some of these things. I'm like, man, you are a wild man right now. Like you are a real degen.
Have
Yeah.
you have you used this moment or this time period? I'm going to assume no before asking the question, but to accumulate anything that was on like what you believe is just good deals.
Goblins was the only
Okay.
thing I accumulated this week. Goblins at 1 ETH, which turned out to be the best deal of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, give
Uh,
us some alpha. Like, what do you think is really, really on sale right now? And you could, when the market turns around, you could really see it turning back around,
the
like
lower
heavy.
tier projects. Some of these lower tier projects that got completely destroyed because all prices went down that are still building. It's kind
Mm.
of hard to put my finger on it. I get goblins. I ignore goblins because I think like it's fun now, but high risk. Like I think if the markets turn, well, I guess it goes both ways. If the markets turn good, goblins might not be as popular. If it keeps going down, maybe goblins are the play. But if markets start to turn around, I guess would be the way I'm going to aim this. I would start to look at some of these projects that might be having airdrops coming out soon. Stuff like soon, like
Mm.
projects in the 0.5 to 3 ETH range that are doing stuff, even like PXN potentially. If they fix that art and their new art looks good and it doesn't look like it's copycat of other stuff and their community's still there and their marketplace is going live and whatever, things like that, like something that had a high floor that came down due to FUD in the market, but if they deliver on anything they said, could potentially go back to where it was. Those kind of things, like the not moonshotting, just retracing back to where it was. The team's holding up
Mm.
their end of the deal and they just went through a little spurt. I'd look for that kind of stuff, or I would look for just degen fun mints, and don't mint everything because you could lose all your money in a day, but just
Hmm.
be real
Yeah.
particular, put a really small percentage aside and just try to either momentum play after sellout based on what sells for more than 1 hour. Like what say, like sometimes you can wait 6 hours to buy before things pop off and it's almost worth it just to make sure they don't die in an hour and go to 0.0001, because that happens like 75% of them in an hour or two. Or just try to
Mm.
catch the mint. If you see something for free mint meta is definitely going to be the thing this month. Like I've already seen, I mean, honestly, I've seen multiple people in metaverse make 10, 20, 30, 50 ETH off free mints like the Goblin
Mm.
and other free mints this week,
Jeez.
literally just looping 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wallets on a free mint plus gas. So make some extra wallets, put a little bit of ETH aside, look for the ones, here's the good one. Look for the ones that are limited per wallet that aren't too crazy. Like 1 to 3 per wallet, but the art looks good, the website looks good, just look for stuff like
So they
that.
need a website.
Yeah, well, you can mint from contract, but a lot of these ones that do okay had a little decent website, like there's a little effort put in. But just look for some of these free mints where there's a little bit of effort from the creator put in, not just like a mirrored image of something else that came out, just quickly thrown up on a really cheap website. Like look for something that has the smallest bit of effort, maybe a little Twitter following or Discord, and it was quote unquote a stealth mint and it had a small
Mm.
community already. Those things do well. Like they already had a little bit of
Mm.
people there. The holder count's good. it's spaced out. Like those tend to do even if it's a free mint to 0.1, that's still great. That's great returns in this kind of market. You don't have to make an ETH profit on
It
everything.
is.
Get a
Yeah.
couple of those a day, and you're good every
But,
week. Like that's great.
but a lot of those don't get to point one though, Dutch.
Man, I don't know. I would say at least one degen project a day hits 0.1 from a free mint. Like if you just watch on Moby, it might only last 30 minutes before it goes back down to 0.05 or less. But like a lot of these projects, supply and demand can offset for like an hour or two, and they do pop up a little bit from people sweeping. And like if you're sitting there, this is the part where I don't sleep lately. If you're sitting there and just watching it like minute by minute
Mhm.
on some of these tools, you definitely can time stuff even in this market every day just for like little profits here and there. Even if it's just to keep you
Mm.
busy, it's just yeah, like there's definitely always stuff you can do even in this market. You just really gotta like pay attention and follow them like minute by minute to extract those possibilities.
So Moby is your tool of choice to watch these things.
Just for degen minting. Yeah, just for this meta we're in right now. Uh,
Mm.
any tool that can give you live mint feed and access to the contract or potential website.
Mm. Well, Chris, do you have any more questions? Because it seems like I'm talking to myself here, man.
Nah, man, I'm good. We are at the hour mark. Great, man. Thank you for being here. That was some great advice. Definitely going to be looking out for some of these free mints. I catch them every once in a while in the secondary. Not usually the one minting, but I mean, I've even done decent on secondary this week. So
Yeah,
yeah, man.
man.
Thanks for
Yeah,
being here.
thanks for having me. It was
Talking
fun.
gaming and stuff.
Yep. Round of applause, great. Thank you for being here, great. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'd
Thank
love
you
to have you
guys.
back, man. Anytime you want to come back on the show, feel free to. Love talking to you, Metaverse HQ guys. Are you going to be at NFT NYC?
I will be. I
Okay,
definitely
sweet,
will.
sweet. Well, Ken will definitely be there, and I'm hoping to be there. So hopefully get to meet you while I'm there. And
Sweet, man.
yeah,
Sounds good. Have a great rest of your day.
all right, you too, man. Thank you, everybody who was here. We will see you guys next time. Peace out.